Hey, my name is Rex45 from the Be Forever Cool podcast. This past weekend was Mid-Ohio Motor America. What an exciting weekend. We're going to dive into with the gang that was there. One of us was there. Two of us was there. One was being reprimanded for his activities, so to speak. So he was in a remote location. It was pretty cool to do the second live at Motor America. So definitely excited about that. Let me sort out my camera here because why not? There we go. So we got a question of the night. What is the best superbike for 2026? Stick around. You'll hear the guys say which bike is their favorite and why. And we're going to have some fun with that. We also have, we're not going to tell you yet. We're just going to bring it out when it's time. So let's continue on. I want to thank all the folks that are commenting and subscribing and becoming new members and, buying gear and using the code. Use the Rexy code for Woodcraft. You'll get hooked up with a free T-shirt if you spend over $100. Some folks have already been taking advantage of that and got their T-shirts. Very excited for that. Also, Pirelli tire. If you're looking for race slicks, use Mark 10 Motorsport. Go to his website or just go to beforevercool.com and you can get there right from there. You get 10% off of some Pirelli tires. 10% is a lot, especially if you have a big bike. You go through tires in a weekend. 10% might get you a free tire if you're fast. So definitely use the code and go to beforevercool.com to find out what's happening next. I think that's all of the PSAs we have to do for tonight. Let's get the gang in and see what they up to. Reese, what's good, man? How you doing? You're not in the truck, so that might be a good thing.
No, I'm not in the truck, but I am at the airport. You know what I mean? Heading back to regular work. But, life is never done, so it is what it is.
Man, it is what it is. I didn't even think I asked you last week. Oh no, so you must be excited about LeBron going to Phillies. Hey, Philadelphia, 36ers. You're not happy about that?
No, needs to retire.
All right. I mean,
time to call it quits.
The economy went up 400% since he announced. In that great state of Pennsylvania.
You mean the ticket prices went up 400%? Ticket prices are now up. Jersey sales, ticket prices, man, the whole works. I ain't going to a game.
Somebody got to ship that stuff out. All right, come on, man. I mean, I think it's a good look. I think I think LeBron saw how Jalen was getting played and said, let the smart people get together and show them what it's really like.
Man, I don't even think they're still going to win a championship, but we'll see.
It's the Philly way.
It is.
Hey, Lewis, man, what's good, man? How you doing? I talked to the powers to be. I'm waiting for a notice to come tomorrow morning to let us know if you're free to show up again.
I think after this show, you're going to get a notice again. It's going to say uninvited.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's I think it's folks got to hold people to the fire. So I'm going to see who should I compare you to? Nelson, Martin, Malcolm. Change is not easy. So.
Yeah, change is not easy, and I take criticism all the time. I give criticism all the time. I try to be constructive in my criticism. And, I inject some humor into my criticism because even though it's criticism, it's done in light, in humor. Like, I'm not trying to be malicious in the way that I criticize, even though sometimes it comes across a little bit rough. But yeah, today I'm planning on going pretty hard in the paint in Motor America. So again, I might not be invited this weekend.
Well, let's not keep the folks waiting. Actually, I'll say this. Shout out to the folks on Apple Podcasts, man. You guys, all you followers, 94% of the followers are listening to the podcast. That's really exciting news. So shout out to you guys. So with that said, let's find out what the gripe is about. Lewis, you got the floor, man. It was a great weekend for me. It was great racing. I kind of figured it was going to go like that after what happened in MotoGP with the 3 red flags. But let's hear your take, man.
I mean, it was a great weekend. I got to give it that. You know, it did have a little bit of rain here and there, but it wasn't the washout that some people were expecting. Some people were really expecting like a complete washout both evenings, both afternoons. Really, Sunday looked like it was going to be the worst of the 2 days, but for the most part, the rain held off. We had a couple of droplets, but nothing that really interrupted the flow of the event. And then Superbike happened, and Superbike was just it was chaos, but it was also super entertaining. You know, Ben Smith crashing on the first corner of the race was completely unexpected. I mean, you could tell the bike wanted to finish the race, even if Ben wasn't able to finish the race. They stopped the race.
I thought of I was gonna say Ayagura, but Taka Nakagami when he got pulled after so long and then crashed out on the first lap. It's tough when you're one of these riders that I don't know if you're not used to being in the front or what it is, but I felt bad for him.
It's not that. I mean, to be very honest with you, we've always said it. You know, someone can pull a great lap out of their ass. That doesn't mean they can maintain that speed over race distance, but you can pull an amazing lap out of nowhere. If you have the right tires and conditions in that one moment and you're able to put together the corners just in the right way, you can put together a great lap and get on pole. But there's a difference between making one great lap and then following that with 22 consecutive great laps or consistent great laps. And if you look what happened in race 1, you know, he kind of fell back into his position because he couldn't keep that pace for that great lap. Mm-hmm. And then in the second race, I think he wanted to try to do something special in the first lap. And as I've told everybody, you can't win a race on the first lap. You sure as hell can lose it in the first lap. And he tried to overextend himself in the first lap to try to get some sort of lead, to try to maintain some distance. And what did he do? He ran a little wide, rear tire hit the grass. It's been raining all weekend on and off. And that bike kicked him off. And then the bike was like, well, maybe I can keep riding by myself.
Yeah.
And then that bike decided to commit suicide. It hit head on, and I can guarantee you that bike's a wrap, dude. The only thing they're going to be able to save on that is maybe the rear wheel, because I guarantee you the forks are bent. The frame's definitely got some damage. There's some other damage that you can't even see. Like, that's a rebuild from scratch, man, because if not, you're going to have some issues. So we have that issue. Race restarts. Race is actually really, really good. We have some great overtakes. We have a really nice battle at the front. 5 guys kind of break away for a little bit. And then JD Beach has overextends himself, runs wide, gets back on track, starts getting up spots, which he should. I mean, he's at the front leader pace. So he's going to get past, and he's probably going to get back up into 6th or 7th. I didn't have any doubt about that. We've got 4 guys in the front. We've got 9 laps left. And 1 lap before it, guys, what did I send on the text message group? PJ's going to chuck it.
Yeah.
And less than a lap later, Cirque du Soleil again.
Right.
So now we have another red flag, but we still have, I think at that time, 9 laps. Now, here's the interpretation of the rule. If you restart a race, you can complete a certain percentage of that race on the restart and consider it a complete race. But at the very top of the FIM rule book is every single rule has to be applied, but it is at the discretion of race control if it's applied. So if the conditions persist where they can actually restart the race again, there's nothing in the rule book that says that they can't restart the race. They can finish the race at that point, and the FIM will acknowledge the points, will award the points, and will score it as a completed race.
Right.
But if you want to, as race direction, you could say, hey, we're going to restart this again because this is fun.
Right.
This is a good battle. And JD Beach is coming back up. Loris Baz is coming back up. We got 3 guys in the front. We could technically have like a 5 or 6 racer battle in a shortened sprint, even if it's 6 laps.
Okay. So
and we can complete this.
Yeah. So what you're saying is they should have continued. I have my thought on it. Let's hear from Reese. I got to take Reese's mute off. And you were in the thick of things. You had the headphones on. You're hearing things that I can't hear and stuff like that. You heard what Lewis said. Are you on his side? They should have gone with a third restart, or the two made sense based on what you guys talked about or heard.
I mean, absolutely. I believe you should have just restarted. You could have had a 10-lap sprint. You know what I mean, and took it there, because the top guys were all. It wasn't where the top guys were a 2-second or anybody. They were wheel to wheel. I mean, you had at least 4 guys up there that could have finished on the podium. And JD did run wide. What happened was Richie's about to run into somebody. Richie stood up, and JD had to run wide. Richie's been smoking all day and everything else, but that made JD run wide. But if you look at JD's lap times, JD was running a 25.3. The top guys are running a 25.4 or a 25.6, even a little slower. I think the fastest guy was Bobby at a 25 or a 24 set. 24 set.
25
yeah. There you go. Something. So he was running the same pace. So he was coming back, and he was clicking off. He was in 9th. He was clicking off the 8th and 7th guy easily. He was clicking them off. We had plenty enough time to, it would, even in the comments of the section of Moto America, the fans were kind of pissed and felt like they were robbed. And I think they were robbed. I mean, we're all talking about how we need to bring the sport back and how we want great racing. And I think they missed an opportunity for a great race for the fans, to show them something, especially if you did a sprint race, a lap sprint race. Hey, everybody restart. You start from where it would have been something. I think it would have been something spectacular.
No, I'll say this, and I understand why they did it. I remember walking up to Media Center, and I was just like, they're gonna call it, because I thought of what happened in MotoGP when they had the 3 red flags and just how the crashes look there. Now the crashes here, they look kind of sketchy. Like, the bike running down the road looked kind of sketchy. PJ's bike looked kind of sketchy. Fong did a really good job missing him. You know what I mean? So I think how it looked, they didn't want to take a chance if a third one got messy. But I agree. I mean, you said that there's, the top 6 guys were doing 125s and JD. You know what I mean? And close.
Yep. And the other thing that was happening, if you look, I mean, SDK didn't seem like he was pushing the issue. Matt was definitely having some issues with the tire, and SDK was just kind of like shadowing him. And, he was definitely going to be able to pass him. Like, there was no doubt about it. SDK had more bike underneath him. Same thing with Bobby. Bobby was kind of shadowing PJ because he knew that nobody was breaking away. He was conserving his tires. I really thought the last 4 or 5 laps of this race were going to be great. I mean, there was going to be a lot of passes. Loris Baz was coming back into it. Like, once he got within like maybe a second of Bobby, I'm sure Bobby would have wicked it up. And then SDK would have saw on his board that Bobby was wicking up, and he would have wicked it up. And it would just created this cascade of like everybody stepping it up, because everybody was really, they were consistent in those times. But if you look, nobody was really, really pushing or having a lot of struggles except for Matt. I mean, this is one that, the racing gods awarded Matt this one, because he was definitely, if you look at the last couple of laps before the red flag, you could see his bike was very unsettled. His bike was moving around a lot. He was having some issues with the front. He wasn't getting the drive that he was getting at the beginning of the race with the rear. I mean, SDK was really on rails.
Right.
And again, we got robbed of a great race that, again, it's written in the rule book, but it's always at the discretion of race control. And if race control did this, which I believe they did it for TV time, because they still have to put on the bagger race on Samsung TV, and they have a specific time slot to put that. And by the time they restart the race, they either have to shorten the race to maybe 5 laps or even shorter than that. And that was kind of the end all and be all. Hey, for TV time, we're going to call this a race because we kind of have move on to the next show. And I'm sorry, the next show is not the show. This is the show. Superbikes is the show. That's not the show.
Right. No, I feel yeah. I'll say this in the post press conference. Matt, he did say he saw that SDK wasn't pushing, and he was just like, I'm gonna jump out front and wear my tires out and fight with my brakes with late braking to kind of fight off the position. I mean, that decision where everybody else fell back, if he didn't make that decision to jump out and just say, hey, screw the tires, I mean, SDK would have won that race.
Yeah. I mean, again, sometimes the racing gods smile on you, and sometimes the racing gods don't smile on you. On yesterday, on that particular race, they smiled on Matt, but in reality, he was not going to hold that position. I really think SDK was going to do what SDK has done to him several times this year, where it's just park that bike in a corner, check Matt up, and then say, peace, I'm out. Look at what this BMW can do.
I did ask him about that, if he had a plan for that. We'll never find out. But I did
tune in next time, kids.
Exactly. Or go to Motor America and see his and listen to his response to the question. So because after a while, he's coming. So I was sitting here thinking it before the race was called to him, like, bro, he that has to be on his mind, because he lost. That happened to him twice.
Yep.
So pretty
Third
well.
time's a charm.
Yeah, well, or you learn. One of those presidents said something about that. Let's talk about qualifying a little bit before we kind of wanted to talk about that, because that was huge. It was a great weekend for watching motorcycle racing at Mid Ohio for sure. First time there for myself. And it was a fun time. So I can't wait to go back, and it's probably a track I'd like to get some racing done on, or riding done on. Let me see. So we talk about Benjamin Smith. I mean, getting that pole position. Were you shocked by that? I mean, Ducati has been struggling. We thought maybe Los Baz probably would have been the guy to get there first, and especially with the crashes that Benjamin Smith had earlier in the season. What are your thoughts, Lewis, on seeing Ducati getting that pole position?
I mean, I wasn't surprised. We've been saying for a while that they're going to start finding ways to make the Dunlop tires work and put things together. And maybe this weekend with the R7 rear tire or whatever compounds, everybody seemed to be having issues with compounds this weekend because of the weather, or never having used the compound before because the weather conditions didn't leave it available to even try those compounds. So like the hard compound was something new that some of the racers were trying to get through the entire race. He just happened to capitalize on the right setup, the right tires in the right conditions, and pull, a great lap out. So it's good to see that he can keep the pace up, because I know, the dude is suffering from, I don't know how many injuries, because, I mean, he's hit the ground at almost every track this year. Yeah. And most of them haven't been kind. So, I'm glad that he hasn't gotten any serious injuries, and the teams keeps rebuilding the bike for him, and he keeps putting his head down and doing his best. I still think that he has a little bit of ways to go to be a consistent front runner. And sometimes you do need to try beyond your limits and push your limits to try to get to the front. And this is what he did this weekend. It worked great during the qualifying. But during the race, both races, he suffered mightily. In the first race, he dropped back really far, really fast. And in the second race, I think he just really overextended himself. I think he should have tried to slot himself into the top six, hang on in the top six, take it a little bit easy, and then, see what happens, what, occurs during the race, and what he can capitalize on. I think he was just a little too aggressive, trying to get out front and try to get some kind of lead early in the race. And, we saw the results of that. I think he just needs to get a little bit better at his race craft as far as having a strategy. Trying to go out and be the fastest guy and leave everybody in the dirt, in the dust, doesn't work in Moto America. It's very, very rare, especially in Superbike, that somebody could just jump out front in the first 2 or 3 laps, get a 2.5 or 3 second lead, and then maintain that for the rest of the race. It doesn't happen, man. It's very rare.
I say Ducati's crashes in Moto America might rival some of that at Joan Mir.
Spectacular. I tell you what, Ducati's crash spectacular. spectacularly.
Oh man, Reese, I mean, you were there, you were in the action of it all. What are your thoughts on what he was able to do? I mean, I was scratching my head. Like I said, I might have thought Lois Baz or PJ, one of these guys, but it wasn't the usual suspects that were in the top 10 in qualifying this round.
No, it wasn't. I mean, what Benjamin Smith was able to do was it was pretty much all of us over there scratching our heads. I mean, we were like, where the heck did he come from? Where is this at? So it was something different. It was something spectacular. It was commendable to him. Like, I commend him, and he is a talented rider. He's still trying to wrap his head around a Ducati. He's still trying to figure stuff out. He's very young. So it's going to take him some time. Like Lewis said, you can't just jump out there because you're going to burn your tires. We all had tire issues, using, it was either front, using an R4 or an R6, and then the rear tire R7. So it was a numerous of plays, and everybody's trying to figure out the right setup. And one day is, sunny as bright day, and then the next day is overcast real good and humid. So you're trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what setup to run, what temperatures to run the tires. So it was a numerous of things. But like you said, the normal suspects were up there, but then you had some other guys that were up there showing their heads, and you were just like, wow, this is something different.
Right. I mean, a good weekend for you. Again, I'll send you my address to get that. You know what I'm saying? Both you guys were on the podium in race one. I mean, JD did it from 10th place. Impressive. Was there much to change between qualifying and the main race to get him what he needed?
I mean, they did. We went back to a different setup that we had. They had a setup on there going for qualifying, and it didn't work for him, and that's why he qualified 10th. Then it was just a missed setup, but we knew he had the pace. The best thing to do is try to get out front and get a good start, which JD has done numerous rounds, get a good start. And once he gets that good start, he can put his head down and kind of click off the laps and click off the times. And that's exactly what he did. If watching in race one, he was just slowly but surely clicking in. Like, once you get that settling point, you settle in, and then you kind of just make your way forward to try to keep pace of the tires and he was running the pace. And then unfortunately, race two, we had the first red flag, and JD was funny with the first red flag. He said him, Gillum, and I think a couple other guys, if you watched it in slow motion, he was like, why is everybody putting their hands up? He seen the bike coming, but he said, look, I'm going to just go around y'all. He said, because the bike's over here, so I'm going around and just keep on going. But, and then when he had the second red flag, I mean, he came in hot, and he was ready to go. And unfortunately, they called the race. But, that's part of racing. And we got Virginia's round coming up, and Virginia is a triple header. So right. 75 points up for grabs. So you can go to work.
Go to work. I like the sound of that, man. It's been crazy. Let's talk about, we touched a little bit about the crashes, but let's talk a little bit more, because, I mean, it was crazy to see, one, but, PJ's crash, I mean, is it... I mean, we only got a few more rounds left, three rounds, but we'll talk to Lewis first. I mean, it's going to be tough for Ducati to finish strong by the end of the year if they keep crashing, right?
I mean, the Rahal team and the Warhorse team are both suffering mightily. I mean, of the two teams, I really had my money on the Warhorse team only because they had the returning champion, Cameron Beaubier. However, his season or his championship run ended earlier this year, again, due to a crash, due to injuries, because they're still trying to figure out how to make this bike work. So it's a shame that, such a talented rider is kind of out of commission with an injury. I mean, maybe it's a compound of, or a culmination of all the injuries he's suffered over the last, 3 or 4 years. He's had some really hard crashes. He's had several concussions. Some scary crashes. And this year he started out, looked like he was going to be strong, had a crash. He's been out ever since. And his replacement rider, Loris Baz, I mean, he's a fill-in rider. Loris Baz is a competent rider, but even he's not able to get the bike to come together. Ben Smith is realistically, he's a rookie in this team, and he's still very young overall in the class. The last couple of years, he was on a Yamaha, and he was a mid-pack finisher. And this year, he's on a factory-ish Ducati bike, and he's having his struggles. And then on the other side, the other team with Ducati is Ray Hall, and PJ Jacobson just keeps finding new and creative ways to just throw away podiums. He just can't seem to settle into a rhythm and accept that this is all the bike that can do. This is all the bike that can do, period. The bike can't do anymore. I mean, we see him overriding the bike race after race after race, and we see him chucking it into the woods, more often than not. And you're not going to win a race that way. You're not going to win a championship that way. And you're only going to invite scrutiny because sometimes, again, you have to settle for third or fourth. If third or fourth is all you can get, finish third or fourth. Because if you finish in the crash truck, you're not helping me. You're not helping the team. You're racking up a repair bill, and you're devaluing your talent because, dude, at least finish a race.
Right. Now it sounds like I'll put this to Reese, see what he heard, or much of what he can say. Some of the riders, from what I heard, it seems like the spot where he crashed is a spot where the front end gets a little light, so you kind of have to be mindful of that. Do you just think it's just the heat of the moment, he just lost it, or I mean, he's a lighter guy, so weight may feel different for us small people.
I mean, I've heard it from a couple of riders with that track saying that track is, sketchy here and there, versus as far as grip. A couple of riders, walking around the paddock or talking to some guys, you hear it. That area he crashed in, they say that is a spot where people crash. I mean, we had a lot of crashes this weekend across the Moto America series. I mean, from, Corey West to Gillum to
Dominic Doyle.
Everybody. Doyle, yeah. I seen Dominic Doyle's crash, and that was horrific. Even down to Kyle Wyman ran into the wall. So it's the track is a little sketchy. I mean, I wish they put some more air fences up. I wish they would, instead of just getting it ready for the wet, I wish they would resurface it and get it a lot, more grip in there. Because it's a fun track. It is a fun track. I mean, we get tons and tons of fans for that area, and it is a motorcycle area far as the Northeast. So, I mean, I wish they would just take the time and say, well, let's resurface this thing and get it up to par, and either, push the walls back a little bit more, and some more air fences up.
Right. No, I don't know much about it, so I'll take your word as far as what needs to be done as far as to make the track a little bit more favorable for folks. But let's talk about the Superbike Cup. We haven't really spoken about this much, but shout out to Carl. I'm going to jack up his last name, so I'm not even going to say it, but Andrew Lee and Carl, they look good. These guys there's top three guys, Campbell in third place. What are your thoughts? Well, we'll start with Lewis.
Caleb DeCarroll, my man. Caleb DeCarroll.
Okay. What about Caleb DeCarroll?
Caleb DeCarroll has been around a very long time. A lot of racers know him and like him. He actually designs a lot of helmets and suits. He does a lot of wraps for a lot of the guys' helmets. So he's been in and around the paddock a long time, bounced around a lot of teams, racing a lot of different classes. He's supposed to be racing in the hooligans class on the light fighter. But this wasn't, the light fighter team wasn't able to field the electric bike again this weekend. So the Orange Cat team rolled out one of their stock 1000 bikes from last year, and he put it, right on the podium the first weekend. So it goes a lot to show his talent. The kid is super talented. And two, it goes to show how good the BMW bike that they built last year for stock 1000 is, man. Like, it's still out of the box, got right up there and was able to compete right at the front. So it's a really good, I can't sing the praises of the Orange Cat team enough, man. They just have such a good team put together. Really, really, man. Like, top to bottom, everybody that works there, super professional, take care of everything they have to take care of, come every race weekend ready to do what they have to do in whatever class that they're racing.
I don't think Reese from Attack Yamaha heard you say that one more time. How you feel?
So professional. Great spread of food, not cold cuts. and stale cookies. Big tip of the hat to Orange Cat for inviting me to eat every time I go there in their hospitality suite.
Hey, listen, man, you need a suggestion box, Yamaha.
Hey, we don't need a suggestion box. We come professionally prepared, professionally ready to race, and we come to win. That's it.
No doubt. You're definitely doing that. What are your thoughts, Reese, that you guys got the Superbike Cup mixed in with the Superbikes? It's fun to see. We can see the difference in the riders as far as the bike, not necessarily the skills of the rider. What are you guys talking about when you're seeing these guys moving the way they move? And you just heard what Lewis said about the Orange Cat BMW, and apparently the food.
No, I mean, the food probably good, but but it's nice. So I mean, it's nice to see the guys over there because it fills up the empty slots on the Superbike grid, so it keeps the whole grid nice and full. And these guys get the exposure that they need. For TV time, they get sponsorships. Instead of just having their own class where kind of like the fans, as soon as stock 1000 needs to go up, they kind of like the fans just disperse and no one was on the fence line watching them. They're just kind of just almost like out there on a track day. So it's kind of nice for these guys, and the way they got it now, it's kind of like, from what I'm understanding, it's not a full stock 1000, but it's not a full Superbike. It's like in the middle of their in the middle of this class that they got, performance wise. So it's kind of nice to let them get the chance to do certain things. Then they get the chance to run up there. You never know, you can run up there with the Superbike class and get in the top 5 and, see your talent, see what you're worth.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely cool to see. And I've been shooting those guys and the Superbike guys. So definitely check out BeForeverCool.com. Check out the photos or the social media. And we're still going to be talking about what we think is the best bike for 2026 Superbike. So definely keep it live.
You already know my answer.
Do you? Lewis is gonna read off the menu from Orange Cat, so you might change your mind before the end of the show. But let's talk about Super Sport guys, Darren Bender and Josh Herron and Josh Hayes put on a show on Saturday. It was great to see. We weren't sure what the weather was going to do, but those guys went out there and laid down some laps. Hayes, he got on the podium, which is great, but he tried to stay with those two guys. The second race on Sunday, Herron pulled a giant wheelie at the finish line, which is pretty crazy to see, and even more gnarly for Bender to see. Your thoughts, Reese, on the Super Sport race in the weekend?
I mean, the Super Sport racing was really good, and I'll say this, and I can say it with confidence. I don't think a lot of people don't notice, but if you remember, it was back in the early AMA days when we used to call it a Super Sport, it used to be like a dog pound. You had everybody in there. But the biggest rival in there was Herron versus the Neslick. Mm-hmm. If you remember that rivalry, we almost have that rivalry going on right now, and a lot of people aren't paying attention to it, between Blake and Ty Scott. You almost have that rivalry going on right now because they don't like each other. There's some bad blood there. So it's going on. We were paying attention to it this weekend. I'm like, there's something going on there.
Well, I mean, listen, man. Ty Scott got to keep the bike up. I mean, him and PJ, they got to go Baton Rouge or Jamaica in the hills somewhere to go see some people that burn some bush and help you get the juju off of you. Because this Ty Scott, he would be so much further in the. I mean, he hasn't crashed as much as he's crashed more than
he's crashed a lot.
He's crashed a lot.
He's crashed a lot, and that's killing him. I mean, because the guy would be probably in the top 4 in the championship. I don't know where he's at, but definitely would be in the top 4 if he didn't.
I think he is 4th. He is 4th.
Okay, even still crashing out, he's still 4th. So imagine if he didn't crash out.
Right, I think he'd be top 2 right now, or top 3.
Yeah, let me double.
I think Kayla is 3rd.
Yeah,
Kayla's 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 4th at 144 points, and so you think about if he didn't crash, he could be top 3 fighting for the championship.
I mean, I gotta watch what I say because people still mad at me for Kayla. My comments on Kayla, but
Well, I mean, we're talking just from points and not crashing. We're not. I mean, the Kayla, we we're done with that. At this point, go watch the videos and join the comments that's already going on because they're still going, which is great because it's nice to have dialogue for motorsports. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Lewis? Man, do you see what Reese just saw? It said he saw it between Ty Scott and Blake.
I mean, I think there's a couple of other ego clashing moments in Supersport right now. I think Binder is hurting Herrin's feelings because once again showed up at a track, first time at the track. Herrin's run enough laps to go to the moon and back at this track, and Binder just kind of slides it up underneath him and bounces on him.
Yeah,
and that's got to hurt. But again, we talked about this last week. There's levels to this. And as high as the level that you think you are, there's somebody else that's on that next higher level. Correct. There's somebody else that's on the next rung.
And, I mean, I'll say this. From what I could tell, well, the Saturday race, Herrin was definitely not happy because he did all the work. And Bender was able to just get by. You
mean Bender did what Josh usually does and let somebody else do the donkey work and then at the end steal their glory? Oh man, so sorry to hear about that.
Tough. And then, but on Sunday, it seems like Herrin made a couple of mistakes. And I think that's what caused them, regardless of why he made those mistakes. But he made a couple of mistakes, and to me, that caused him to get second again, which he wasn't happy about. But go ahead, man.
No, man, that's all it is. Binder's showing up. Binder's doing the work. They're both on the same bike, so equal equipment for the most part. I think maybe. I mean, I can't see a major difference between what Warhorse is putting out there versus what Ray Hall's putting out there. They both have competent crews. They both know how to build bikes. They know how to put bikes together. They're both supported by Ducati Corsa, so they have similar equipments minus setup and chassis and a couple of things like that. And this guy that's never ridden on these tracks is coming in here, sliding in, and is, kind of slowly starting to keep adding points and putting a buffer between himself and Josh Herrin. And I'm sure it's not, Josh Herrin's not enjoying watching somebody else being in first place and slowly adding that padding to that gap. If this keeps going, the next event is VIR. It's a possible another 50 points up there. So if it finishes the same way it finishes, then after that race, we're talking about, a 30-plus point lead with only 2 rounds to go, which is going to be COTA and New Jersey. And technically, I mean, if things go a certain way, Binder can almost lock it up at COTA.
Well,
I'm sure that's not what Herrin wants to hear, but this is the facts. And you came into this season as the favorite to win the Supersport class because you already had won the Supersport class, moved up to Superbike, won Superbike titles, were relegated back to Supersport, like you were expected to be the guy, and all of a sudden this guy comes from overseas, and it's like, you're asking for your teammates that come help you.
Right.
Hey, get in front of this guy, interrupt this guy, somebody come help me out.
Yeah. And to me, COTA is more Bender's track than it is Herrin's track. So.
Yeah. So, if things go the way they go, if Binder does a double again at VIR and they go to COTA, it's going to be a long, long weekend at the office for everybody else.
Yeah. He's gonna have to. Herrin's gonna have to pull out all the tricks to pull this one off. Reese, man, let's talk about Josh Hayes. I mean, he was running top 3, got on the podium, 53 years old, something like that. Still doing it well. The fastest Yamaha for the week, I think, for the weekend, or at least I got to check Sundays or Sunday to see where he finished at. But what are your thoughts on seeing this guy still doing what he's doing, man?
The old dog still got it. It's nice to see him up there. I know he's been pushing. I know he's been trying to help that team grow and figure out some things to put a bike under him to get a bike together. I know the R9 still has its, dilemmas, and I know with the swing arm and stuff like that. So it still has its little hiccups and stuff and its growing pains, you want to call it. But I mean, everybody's trying to figure it out. Everybody's trying to figure that bike out, put it up top, put it up on the podium. But it was nice to see him up there. It's actually nice.
Right.
Show that he still can do it. He's still able to race at this point of his career and his life.
Let me ask you this. Was it the bike or him? I mean, he did a 127.756. Bender's fastest time is a 127.533. I mean, he ain't that Yamaha seemed pretty quick.
I mean, it's like a combination. He had the right setup under him, but then it's him too, knowing that he had the right setup and being able to ride that bike with that setup and ride that track. And, a lot of people will want to cut the corner short. They want to, cut the track short, or you can just actually stay on the race line, stay wide and ride that bike straight up through and let it, run itself out. So it's a combination for that situation.
Right. Yeah, it's good to see. Makes me feel good. I might show up next year with some gear on and throw my name in the Twins Cup. Louis, what are your thoughts on Hayes? You with me? We got a team Be Forever Cool.
No, I mean, we talked about this last week's show. I said Josh Hayes is one of the guys that he's run more laps at Mid-Ohio, and he's been fast at Mid-Ohio for 20 years now. The dude's been racing at Mid-Ohio and been consistently fast. So I thought that this was one of those tracks where the deficiencies of the R9 aren't going to be as significant as they were on some of the other tracks. And I know that they've been finding a couple of things to try to help with that mechanical grip that they've been lacking. And this was a great weekend that Josh Hayes did what Josh Hayes does. A veteran rider, knows how to ride, knows the track, knows how to get the max out of the bike, and the team's coming together to put these couple of pieces together that are missing to try to give him the best bike that he can. And the BPR team overall is having an incredible season with, Josh Hayes in Supersport and their two guys in Hooligans. I mean, they're cleaning up. Like they figured out how to build good Yamahas, man, because they're making those things go.
Yeah, they definitely are, man. And I'm excited to see it. Let's talk about. We'll talk about Kayla a little bit because she got on the podium on her and Josh switched positions between race 1 and race 2. She was the fourth fastest in race 2. So I mean, she's still in the fight, in the hunt. I mean, she her hand, as she says, still looks pretty gnarly. If you saw the photos on there from the crash back at Laguna Seca. Is it 3 more rounds left? Just kind of continue to learn, head down. I mean, if you're third in the championship at the end of the year for a couple of years in super sports, still pretty good. Go, Reese.
I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, for where she's at, I talked to her father, and I know her father really well. And like he said she's already exceeded expectations for this year. Mm-hmm. She's already exceeded. I mean, she's doing very well. I've never said that she's not a talented rider. She's very, very talented. And with that hand, like I seen the hand, her finger, when she did this over the weekend, because she did something over the weekend. And I'm like, this is why riders ride and mechanics use the tools. Don't touch the tools and leave the tools alone. But, it's for what she had, the injury and then what she's going through, she was still very fast. She was very, very fast and, very competitive. So that was very nice to see her and to see her up there, to fight through the pain and being able to put it up there on that podium.
Yeah, no doubt. It's pretty gnarly to see and cool to see because, it's a different level. Louis, yes. Anything to add before we talk about the Twins Cup?
No, I mean, I hope that she can kind of keep her head down and stay in that third spot throughout the rest of the year. It sucks riding with injury, especially like hand or feet, hand injuries or foot injuries, because those are your inputs to the bike. That's how you control the bike. That's how you really manage the power, the brake, and everything else. And when you have an injury on your hands or your feet, it makes for a very difficult race. But she was able to power through it, and she got 2 really good results. One result her teammate probably didn't appreciate because she took points away from him. But, she's not in it to give points to other people. She's in it to get points for herself. So if she stays in this course, she should end up third in the championship. Tyler Scott is probably going to keep costing Team Hammer parts between now and the end of the year. So at this rate, I think Josh Hayes is more of a threat to third place than Tyler Scott.
Wow.
Because I think by the next round, Josh Hayes will overtake Tyler Scott in 4th place in the championship. And if he keeps, again, VIR is a track that doesn't have a lot of straightaway. It's all about technique. It's all about corner speed. It's all about having the right angles and knowing the track. And VIR is another track that I think Josh Hayes did his first lap there in like 1968, bro. The dude's been around forever. So he knows how to go fast at VIR. So I expect another great showing from him this coming weekend.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. I'll be there and get the camper rolling out. Let's talk about the Twins Cup. We said the whole weekend was very good for watching racing, and it was. Twins Cup, nonetheless. I mean, that is some really good finishes. You got what is it? Brody Page, Matthew Chapin, Hank Vosberg, Isaac Woodward. Shout out to Eli Block, who came on the show on Saturday. He's back in he's back in Motor America for the last rounds. Racing qualified 9th, finished 8th and 9th for the weekend. Pretty impressive for just coming into the Twins Cup in pretty much 2/3 of the season. What are your thoughts, Reese, on what you saw out there with those guys and gals on the Twins Cup?
I mean, from what I saw, I didn't see too much, but from what I saw, I mean, it was very competitive. It's a very, very competitive class with the guys and girls in there. It was nice to see the 2 M4s up there. Could have a little bit of success. Versus where they're having a little bit of struggle in the Superbike class and the Supersport class. So it was nice to see them up there and still have the success in the competitive nature. But, from what I saw, it was a very good race. I can't say too much because at that point in time, it was pretty much hands on deck for me.
Right. I will say that is the when one group are on the victory lane, someone else is setting up in the on the grid, and it's work. So you can't be in 2 places at once when you're in it. But it was still pretty cool. Lewis, your thoughts, man?
I think there's a lot of talent, man. There's a lot of young talent out there. I hope that these kids keep getting an opportunity to go out there week after week, continue to hone their craft and get better, because I look at the average top 5 in the Twins Cup, top 6, and this is the future of Motor America, man. Like these 5-6 names realistically are the future of Motor America, as long as they get the right support and the right help to get from stage to stage to stage. I think it's there. I think, right now Hank Vosberg is, I hate to say, I mean, this dude is the cream of the crop in this class. I mean, he's leading the points championship by 63 points. So pretty much the championship is wrapped up. Even if he doesn't show up for the next 4 races, he can win the championship. It's that good. He's that good a rider. He's on a great team. Robum Racing and the RS660 have shown themselves to be like the package to have. I think they've won the Twins championship now 5 years in a row.
Wow.
So, they won it twice. I want to say they won it twice with Gus Rodeo, and then they won it twice with Alessandro Di Mario, and they're on pace to win it again with Hank Vosberg. So, the team picks the right riders, and the bike is, even if it's a little bit down on power compared to some of the other bikes, it just corners on rails and right out of the gate. I mean, it's such a good package for a Twins Cup bike. For years, it was always the SV650 was the Twins bike to have. because, it was built like a tank. You can crash it a million times and just put some oil on it and some duct tape and keep racing it. But this Aprilia, man, is just really a really high end package for a not very expensive bike that you can go race with pretty much right off the showroom floor.
Yeah, no doubt. It's pretty cool to see, and if this dude, he'll be probably a super sport next season.
I don't think so, man.
Well, yeah.
I think honestly, man, if unless he gets a really exceptional offer from a really good team, he might be better off staying at this team for another year, defending his championship, and then moving up to super sport when the right opportunity is available. Because we've seen people move up to super sport in the wrong opportunity, and it's been a kick in the balls to their entire, program.
Right.
So, if he gets a great opportunity with a competitive team in super sport, absolutely he should do it. If he can't get that, then you know what? Stay another year. Matthew Chapin, Bodie Page, Sam Drain, all these guys are probably going to be there another year also. And, battle and fight with them again, show your talent again in a way that you can really display your talent, and wait to get the right ride, man. Sometimes waiting it sucks, but you know what sucks more, man? Getting on a team that barely has enough money to get through the season, not having parts, not being able to have a bike that's competitive. That sucks even more, man. Showing up and knowing you have the talent and sitting in a chair watching some guy duct tape a bike together because the team doesn't have enough money.
Right. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. When you don't have enough money, but hopefully somebody will drop some money in his pocket and in his hands and get him there. But
if BMW had a super sport bike, he would be great at Orange Cat. I'll keep saying that every time because the food is so good there, man. You can't go wrong.
Can we mute him? Can we just kick him off this?
I'm gonna take a picture of the spread at Orange Cat. We're gonna show it here. I'm like, this is like a 5-star restaurant.
I mean, listen, man. The man doesn't have a point. I mean, even Harley Davidson, Arch. I mean, I'm seeing, I'm waiting for somebody to walk out with something in their hand.
Bottle service, y'all. I'm waiting for bottle service.
Right. Something. Speaking of service, we've been talking about comments, and so we're starting something new called comments, cool or not. This one right here is for Reese. Which one are we doing? Okay. We'll start with with Waylon because that's easy enough. Doesn't everyone start riding knowing absolutely nothing about riding? I learned, you learn, she can learn. Convincing, but BS, absolutely BS. Hope you guys isn't a coach. Cool or not cool, and why? Reese, you gonna put on your coach hat?
Oh my God.
Defend me.
I'm trying to put it in the most professional manner and way I can. I'm like, man, not cool. I can say that. Not cool.
Not cool.
No. I mean, I hope this guy isn't a coach. Mm-hmm. Why? Why wouldn't you hope that I'm a coach? I went to class.
This one's for Lewis.
He's talking about me not being a coach.
Yeah. No, but I get it. I know you're talking about you. But I went to school. I ran under Lewis. And Lewis is the one that guided me into the right direction when we was in Nesba. And he put him and a gentleman named Morpheus, put me from the beginner group, bumped me up into the intermediate group, and then showed me the ways to get into the advanced group. And I'm going to tell you this. When Nesba was around, and Lewis knows this, it was Lewis, Morpheus. It was, I can't think of the girl's name. Help me out, Lewis. The big girl. She was big on the 750.
It's a long time ago.
Well, anyways, it was a couple of guys. But if you moved up in Nesba, you were it. You could go anywhere to any track day and run. anywhere. You were faster than any other guy. Because the move up in Nesba, it was tough. It was one of the toughest things to do. Even though you'd be like, oh, I'm fast, I can do this. They would not move you up until you had the right lines, the right pace, the right body position, everything else. So to say someone's not a coach, you don't even know what this person does, is kind of nonsense. You don't know their background. You don't know their history. You don't know anything about it. You know, saying everyone can learn. Yes, everyone can learn. You hope he's not a coach. He is a coach. He coached me. He coached a bunch of people, you know, and I give him his props. I will give Lewis 100% because Lewis is the one that put me into that level and put me in, like, if it wasn't for Lewis to get me into the event, I would have never thought about going into the 3 C's at Yamaha Day School, Champ School.
Right. Okay. There you go. All right, man. Let's go. Lewis, it's your turn.
What's this one here?
Oh gosh. From somebody in Europe. What is it? I don't even Retro Umax or Runnex or whatever.
This is about my comment about U.S. racing being quality racing, and that's why some people from Europe will opt to come here. So, you know, it's not as much as some people say it's a last resort. It's not a last resort. And then he's saying that the reason that they come here and don't stay in Europe is because EU racing is corrupt.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, man. U.S. racing ain't much better. They are the paddock. If you walk around the paddock, you'll see all the skin that the snakes have peeled off of themselves as they grow, just scattered around the paddock. There are a lot of people in the paddock that live off the blood of others and will promise you the world, deliver nothing, and try to walk away with the bag. So yes, EU racing is corrupt. Some people say that there's the Spanish mafia, that there's the FIM mafia, and this and that. Trust me, man. U.S. racing is not that much cleaner of a sport. It's dirty here as well. But I still stand by my statement that there is a quality and there is some value in staying in the U.S. and winning a championship in the U.S. And, you know, here we have High Rev Trev with his, you know, I'm talking about 20 years ago. No, I'm talking about 2 days ago, man. There are people that are making a really solid living as racers here that if they went to Europe, they would have to uproot their entire families. They would not be making much more money than they're making in the U.S., but they'd have to disrupt their entire life to move to Europe to try to be competitive there. And what people don't understand is people think, oh, everybody in MotoGP is making $20 million. No, they're not, man. Marc Marquez just 2 years ago made less than $300,000 to race in MotoGP. So if you're racing in the U.S. and you're making $150,000 to $170,000, you're making half of what Alex Marquez made in 10 races that all take place in the same country. You don't have to uproot your family and race in 20 races all over the world for 9 months out of the year. You just literally make $150,000 to $170,000 in 6 months. So you can make a great living, you can make a great name for yourself, you can be competitive and be at the front of the pack, and you can win championships. Or you can go to Europe, make about the same amount of money with a higher cost of living, more expenses, uproot your entire family, disrupt your entire lifestyle, and end up at the back of the pack where you become irrelevant eventually. And guess what? You eventually end up back in the USA making $150,000.
Hey, man, I'll take that 150. You didn't answer. Cool
all day.
Cool or not cool?
Whatever.
Cool,
funny, but cool, but misinformed.
Yeah, we might have to add a third.
Cool, but misinformed.
I had to defend. You know, I had to defend my man Lewis, man. I got to defend him.
No doubt. You got to speak the truth. This is what it is. Speaking of, you already talked about Alex Marquez. We got MotoGP coming back this weekend. Before we get out of here, guys, for the night, you know, what are we looking for? What are we looking to see? We'll go around the horn real quick, and then after that, we'll talk about our super bike that we think is the best for 2026. What are you hoping to see this weekend in Silverstone, one of the most iconic racetracks in the world? What are you hoping to see, Reese?
I mean, I'm hoping to see, Martin up there. I know Marquez is going to be there. Mark is going to be there. I know that. I'm hoping to maybe see a couple other guys just want to do battle, up in, even if you're not up in the front three, maybe in the top 5 or top 6, just to see more of a competitive nature. To see more bar to bar, to see more, good passes and stuff like that. I'm hoping to see, that makes it interesting when you see the close passes or someone getting cut underneath. That's interesting to me. So.
Okay, that's what's up. We're gonna find out when the weekend's over. How about yourself, Lewis? I'm sure you want to see some contracts in the fine print.
I just want to see racing again, man. This hasn't been the normal long break for MotoGP. It's actually a shortened break because of how many rounds they have. Mm-hmm. But even a short break in the MotoGP season, hurts. It kind of gets a little bit boring there for a couple of weeks. So it's good to see everybody back. I'm hoping that Silverstone, puts together some good drama. It's a great track. We've seen some great last lap battles there over the years, some last corner battles over the years. So I'm hoping Moto2, Moto3, and GP put together a great show for the second half of the season. I'm hoping that Bezzecchi can come back a little bit refreshed after the summer break, clear some of the cobwebs, burn some incense, throw some holy water on his bike, and get back into early season form so he can stay competitive and actually bring the fight to Marquez and to the other people in the top 3. I know that right now I'm always kind of in the rumor mill to see what's happening, and supposedly there's a lot of disruption inside of the Aprilia garage right now with the factory team having a lot of struggles. The 2 riders are not really getting along too well because of the incident that Martin had with Bezzecchi that took them both out, or that's taken Bezzecchi out of a couple of races. So I think there's a lot of conflict in that garage. I think the Trackhouse team is probably the team that's going to slide in with the least amount of pressure on their shoulders, because one of them is leaving, the other one is staying, but neither one has any pressure because nobody expected anything from them anyway. So that's a great way to go into a second half of the season. It's my pressure is at 0 because nobody expects me to do anything anyway.
Right. And the factory team is distracted.
Yeah. Yeah. Factory teams, infighting, everything else. We're just going to keep our heads down, keep chipping away points, stealing wins, getting podiums, getting pole positions. It's crazy, man. Yeah. That team is just coming together at the right time under the right circumstances and capitalizing on what they have in front of them.
Yeah, no, yeah, I hear that for sure. It's going to be interesting. We'll see. I mean, we can talk about Ducati and all that, but let's have some racing and then we can talk about it next week. We got to pick our picks and then we'll talk about superbikes and then we'll call it a night, guys.
How about the best bike?
That's what we're gonna do after after we do our picks for this weekend. I'll have to message TJ to send his in via picture. So what do you got? You need time, Reese? I mean, I can go first if you. All right, let's go. What are you looking at? And
I got Martin Marquez and I got Agora in the sprint.
Dang. All right. That's good.
I just can't get to Bezzecchi. He hasn't shown in the sprint race that he can, he's always consistent.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to come back from his injury, if he's going to come back, healthy.
Yes.
In the overall, I'm still going Marquez.
Okay.
I'm tough. I'm gonna go Agora again.
Yeah.
You got to give it to him because, like you said, he's got no pressure.
Yeah.
And I almost want to say Fernandez, but I gotta go Martin. Okay. I'm gonna try to give it to the 2 Trackhouse boys.
Okay. I'm close. Yeah. We'll see. I want to say Ren because I'm just thinking when he beat Marquez some years back. But what do you got, Louis?
For the sprint race, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Marquez. I think he's gonna start the second half of the season very, very strong. Behind Marquez, I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go Alex Marquez. I think the time off is gonna help him heal a little bit more and get together some pieces. And then right up there with them, I'm gonna go with a Trackhouse boy. I'm gonna go with Agura.
Okay, and that's the
And
sprint.
then for the race, I'm gonna go Marquez again, and in that one, I'm gonna go Agura and Martin.
Okay. Yeah, some good ones. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna go. Last time with Marquez, he crashed only one time. So I guess I'm going with Marquez. Marquez in the sprint. I'm gonna go with Digi in the sprint. And I'm gonna put who else is fast in the sprint? We'll go with Iagura in the sprint. In the main race, I'm gonna go Iagura as well. I'm gonna go Bezecchi, and I'm gonna throw Bagnai in there. I feel he got something coming.
The wall.
I got a couple of points I can play with. So we shall see, but it should be a good weekend. All those guys should be well rested, and between now and then, a couple of days will be the press conference. So it's nice to have MotoGP back, but it was also nice to be able to go watch Moto America and be there and stuff like that. So I didn't really feel like I missed much having Moto America here to watch and stuff like that, because World Superbike is off until September. So I don't know what's up with that. But it might be hot in a lot of places. So, but let's talk about the best bike for 2026, guys, before we get out of here. Best Superbike in your mind and why? Let's go with Lewis. He's probably got an MV Augusta, something like that.
All right. So let's qualify this. Best Superbike in the world or best Superbike in Moto America?
No, we're talking about best
tires
bike.
make a difference.
No, we're talking about best bike to buy out of the storeroom. Like, what's the best 2026 bike out of the storeroom, not like built.
And it has to be a leader bike?
Yeah, super bike, yeah.
Okay, super duper bike.
Next time we can do a different CC, there's a suggestion box.
The best bike you can buy with the most bells and whistles and the most competent. Oh man, this is so tough because for me it really comes down to two specific bikes, because I've ridden pretty much every super bike, and I can tell you that these two specific bikes off the showroom floor have the most confidence inspiring feel of any bikes. And that's the BMW S1000 and the Aprilia RSV4.
Okay.
I kid you not, like off the showroom floor with making no modifications, riding the bike, those two bikes feel, with all their power, feel the easiest to ride with all the power that's available to them, just because of the electronics, the setup, the features that they come with. I will say both bikes and all the other bikes in this class are stovepipes between your legs, and they all run hot as balls now. It's like sitting on a furnace and going for a ride. I'll tell you that, no matter what bike it is. But it comes down to those two, and between those two, I have to pick the BMW because they have the best catering at Moto America events.
Reese.
Only him.
I know you can't say another brand.
I could say another brand. I'm always torn between the two. If you're talking about the buy on the street and to buy out of the showroom, we all know the Ducati is fast. It's a powerful bike, but I don't think it's the best bike. I think between the two, of course, I'm going to go to the R1. It's the most, for me, being a tall guy, it's the most comfortable bike. because the way it sits, and it's coming off the showroom floor, it's handles like a dream. But then the second one I'm torn between, and I rode, is the S1000RR. The way it, like Lewis said, out of the box, it handles well, has enough power. You can put it all down to the ground, and it feels comfortable.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm in the same boat as you guys. Definitely, RSV4. I wasn't thinking that, but when you said it, Lewis, I'm a fan of that bike. It's always been a comfortable bike. I do like the new Kawis. I like all the leader bikes. I guess it's fair to say, but what they come out the showroom with the bells and whistles, you gotta look at the BMW, you gotta look at the RSV4, and you gotta look at the Panigale, because they give you the most bells and whistle. And to me, even though I don't own a BMW, I think is probably the best bike out the showroom to ride for beginner riders, for expert riders, for whatever you want to do kind of thing. It's comfortable. You got cruise control. My Panigale has cruise control, but I gotta give up my full exhaust to get it. It's all type of craziness to jump
Heated
through.
grips.
Yeah. So it is the best well-round bike, and from what I hear, they also have really good food.
Excellent food.
I'm not in that conversation.
So there you have it. I might have to go get a different color hat. Kind of looks like this color. Listen, man, you got to eat at the track. Lewis knows what it is.
Yeah, man. It's either eat well or eat that trash that sometimes is out there in the parking lot. Sometimes they have a good time. I will say this: some tracks do have good taco trucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll give that some of the tracks do have quality taco trucks, but for the most part, you got to walk around the paddock and find the right catering and make friends with people that work under that tent.
That's right. Grab a broom.
Oh my God.
See if you can get fed. Oh man, pretty crazy. I can't wait till next round. My name is Rex45. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. I want to thank Reese with Attack Yamaha, Lewis, the numbers guy. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.